Okay, my 3 goals for this speech are to be organized in how I present my speech and the layout of it. I also would like to be passionate about my topic and really display that through my information. And lastly, I want to limit my noise to signal ratio so that I can be less distracting but also passionate about my topic. I want you to think about where your cell phone is right now. Maybe it's in your pocket, or maybe it's in a bag, maybe it's even in your hands while you're listening to me speak. Regardless, I'm pretty sure each of us can say that we have our cell phones on us most of the time, and if not, we know where they're at. It's kind of a common thing in our world in today's time that we don't really leave the house without them on us. And if we do forget it, it's something we'll definitely turn around to go get. We always have our cell phones on us. Why is this? Today, I would like to inform you about the negative effects of cell phones, and specifically social media, that has affected our society today. While it should have been a positive use, and that was its original intent, we have increased our desire to use it, and it's continued to harm our society in different ways. I would also like to inform us how to use it positively and create more happiness and joy in our society and help us to become more social. Research from Ivana Krasanovic, a journalist for the technology business Versus, explained that the original cell phone was about $4,000, weighed around 2 pounds, and got you about 30 minutes of talking time on the phone before you had to recharge it, which contained about 10 hours of recharge time. We fill our lives with our cell phones. In that time period, it wasn't super easy to send a text. In fact, a text message wasn't even possible with that phone. Many people didn't feel the need to spend the money on it because in that world, they didn't need that. But today, I think a lot of us can't imagine our lives without our cell phones, and especially social media too. Our lives are consumed by our phones because we fill them with applications that we are convincing ourselves we need. A study by BuildFire, a website online that conducts research studies, showed statistics that the average person has about 80 apps on their phone, and only about 64% of these apps are used in a month's time. Why do we consume our phones with these apps that we're convinced we need when we're really not even using all of them to their full extent? Our phones engage us and they become addicting. In 2018, a PEW research center found that 95% of teenagers had access to a cell phone. 45% of these teenagers said that they were addicted. Now, this is a little bit crazy because this is only 45% of the ones who realized that they had a problem with their addiction to social media. Most of the apps that are utilized on our phone and consume the most time are social media applications. A 2012 Harvard research study found social media activates pleasure sensation just like alcohol, drugs, food, money, and other stimulating activities do as well. This is why social media has become such an addictive factor in our society. The same feeling you get from drinking alcohol or taking drugs is exactly what people are feeling from social media. We're continuing to get on it because it creates a stimulating, pleasurable feeling while we're on it, and afterwards leaves us feeling low. In preparation for this speech, I decided to conduct my own personal study on my own personal social media account. I used my Instagram story to ask the people I followed about their opinions about their addiction to social media. On average, I received about 400 responses to each question. 98%, when asked how they felt after the use of social media, replied that they felt down, bored, jealous, envious, insecure, and almost every single one said that they felt like they had just wasted time. Many, when asked why they had social media, even after these feelings that it presented in their life, didn't know why they had it, with replies such as, I don't know, it takes up too much time, it makes me feel bad, I truly want to delete it, but I can't get myself to. These are exact quotes from people who responded to my story. Most of this speech has been targeted on the negative effects of cell phones and social media that are so present in our world today. However, my intent of this speech is to inform us of how we can change that to be positive in our world and include happiness and joy in our lives. Social media can be used for good. It can be uplifting, but it's all based on how we use it. Today, based on research I conducted, I would like to give 5 different ways that we can use social media for good. One is to set intentions. Most of the people who replied to my story didn't understand why they had social media and why they kept letting it make them feel bad. Go through and understand why you want social media and especially how it makes you feel. 2 is to clean up your social media. Go through and unfollow accounts and content that maybe makes you feel negative and makes you feel down. Along with that, unfollow things that maybe don't seem to serve any purpose in your life. I know I follow a lot of people who I personally don't know, so it's not really doing anything for me to learn about all the things they're posting about. 3 is to connect in person first. I personally think the worst thing about social media that's hurting our society so much is that it's taking away our time from being present in the world around us while we're connecting virtually. It's less genuine and it's less real. We need to first focus on the people around us rather than connecting through social media. 4 is to set a time limit and stick to it, which can be hard. The University of Pennsylvania research study found that users who cut down to less than 30 minutes on their social media a day experienced immense improvement in personal well-being. If we could all set a time limit for this, we might see happiness and joy increase in our lives. And lastly, we should engage in our social media. Don't just mindlessly scroll, which I know we can all say that we've been guilty of at least one time in our lives. Research found that users who engaged enjoy it more. So if you're going to spend time on social media, make sure to leave that comment, thumbs up your friend's post, and always share so that you're at least a little bit more engaged in what you're doing. In essence, social media can be used for good. It mainly is all about the intent that we put on it and how we use it in our lives. Rather than being down after using it, shouldn't we want to feel uplifted if we're wanting to continue to use it? I think that social media can be a positive influence in each of our lives depending on how we use it for good and help it to influence our world in a better way. This way we can use it more to connect rather than to compare.